Howdy, this is an instructional video for section 3.1. I'm going to work through these problems, show you how to solve them, point out some important features of these problems. So let's start with plotting these points, and notice that I'm starting on page 225 in the book, if you want to look at your own copy of the book. So we're plotting these points. Now remember that these are ordered pairs. So the first coordinate in an ordered pair is often called x, it doesn't have to be, and the second one is often called y, but we really have a first axis, a horizontal axis, a second axis, a vertical axis. So when we plot points, we always start at the origin, and the first coordinate is 2. That means we're going to move 2 units to the right from the origin. Then we're going to move up 5 units, and then we're going to plot that point right there. That's it. Again, plotting points, we start at the origin. -1 means 1 unit to the left, and then up 3 units. Now notice we don't plot the point until we've moved the correct number of units in both the horizontal and vertical direction. Now let's move from the origin 3 units to the right, 2 units downward. That's the ordered pair 3, -2. -2, 2 units to the left of the origin. -4, 4 units down. And that's that point. So notice that a negative coordinate means to move left or down if it's the horizontal or vertical coordinate, respectively. Now, the x coordinate, the first coordinate of this ordered pair, 0, 4, is 0, so that means we move 0 units on the horizontal axis, up 4 units on the vertical axis, since it's a +4. Notice now we're going to go 0 units on the horizontal axis, 5 units downward on the vertical axis. Now this is very important. A lot of people get these backwards. If the first coordinate is 5, that means we move 5 units to the right. We're not going to go any units up because the second coordinate is 0. Now notice every single time I plot these points, I start at the origin. And on this point, I see that my first coordinate is -5, move 5 units to the right, 0 units up, and there are those points. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Start at the origin, move right 4 units, up 4 units. There's the point. Move from the origin left 2 units, up 4 units. Move from the origin right 5 units, down 3 units. From the origin, move -5, move 5 units to the left, 5 units downward. So that corresponds to the point -5, -5. To plot the point 0, 2, I start at the origin, move 0 units on the horizontal axis, 2 units up on the vertical axis. Now I'm going to move for 0, -4, I'll move 0 units on the horizontal axis, 4 units down on the vertical axis. And again, note that for the point 3, 0, start at the origin, move right 3 units, and 0 units in the vertical direction. Start at the origin to plot -4, 0, 4 units to the left, 0 units in the vertical direction. Now I'm going to add a new image. This will be the next set of problems. It's on the same page. It's just a little further down the page. Now, let's talk about in which quadrant, if any, is a point located. Is this particular point located? So let's think about our quadrants first. Here's the coordinate plane. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. These are usually in Roman numerals. Quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. See, aren't you glad that you learned Roman numerals? So to determine if this point is in which quadrant this point is in, we can think about where it would live. Start at the origin, move to the left 5 units and up 3 units, this point must be in quadrant 2. And it's okay if you don't use Roman numerals. If the first coordinate is +1 and the second coordinate is -12, that means this point has to be in quadrant 4. Now look at this. I don't really want to plot a coordinate. I don't really want to draw a coordinate system and go clear out to 100 on the horizontal axis, but I don't need to because I know I move to the right from the origin and then down 1 unit. That means that I have to be in quadrant 4, so I don't have to draw a coordinate system to figure this out. And again, notice that it's not so important that the number, it's more important the sign of the number. Left from the origin, then up means you are in quadrant 2. Q2. If we move left from the origin and down, that means we're in quadrant 3. Now notice these are decimal numbers, but it doesn't matter. I move from the origin right and up, I have to be in quadrant 1. Now let's look at this guy. From the origin I move to the right. Again, it doesn't really matter how many units, it just matters that I move to the right, and then I don't move any direction vertically. This point is not in any quadrant. Any point that's on either of the axes is considered to not be in any quadrant. So since the x-coordinate, the first coordinate of this point is 0, this point is on the y-axis, so it's on one of the axes, so it's not in any quadrant. The axes are not part of the quadrants. Now, these coordinates are fractions. Again, who cares? Find out the sign of the first coordinate. We have to move left from the origin, then we have to move up. This point is in quadrant 2. These coordinates are both negative. I don't care that they're fractions. I care that both coordinates are negative, so I move left and down. That means I'm in quadrant 3. These are mixed numbers. Again, I don't care. I know that's a positive number. The first coordinate's a positive number. The second coordinate's a negative number. So I move to the right, and then I move down. That has to be in quadrant 4. And this is a mixed number. This is a decimal number. I don't care. They are both positive. I look at this number, this coordinate. It had both positive coordinates. This point did. So this point has both positive coordinates. It has to be in quadrant 1. So just to summarize briefly, I'm going to draw another coordinate system here and remind you that all points in this quadrant have positive horizontal and vertical coordinates. Points in quadrant 2 have a negative first coordinate, positive second coordinate. In quadrant 3, both coordinates are negative. In quadrant 4, the first coordinate is positive, the second coordinate is negative. Right, now I've got to add the next page. So go to this. Just kidding, I actually need this. Alright, I can't seem to add an image, that's annoying. So we're going to stop the video here. So this first video will have taken us through section 3.1, problems 1 through 14, and then we'll pick it up where we left off.